Tonight, right here on Rare Coin News, USA, you're about to step into a world very few people ever get to see. A world where a tiny copper coin, something millions of people spent without a second thought, can suddenly transform into a life-changing treasure hiding in plain sight. And the wildest part? One of these coins might already be sitting inside someone's old jar, tucked in a forgotten box, buried at the bottom of a drawer, or quietly sleeping in the very next pocket of change you touch. But don't blink, because every second of this video pulls you deeper into mysteries the US Mint never expected anyone to uncover. These aren't ordinary wheat pennies. These are the ultra-rare anomalies, the once-in-a-generation survivors, and the coins that serious collectors chase with unwavering obsession. These are the hidden champions of the coin world, the ones with explosive value spikes and stories soaked in history, war, survival, and luck that borders on unbelievable. And tonight, I am revealing the top 5 ultra-rare and most valuable wheat penny 1-cent coins circulating in today's wild market. The coins collectors whisper about, the coins that auction houses stalk like predators, the coins that can turn an ordinary day into a moment you will remember for the rest of your life. Stay locked in, because every second you watch pulls you closer to the one coin that could change everything. This is Rare Coin News USA, freshly updated every single day. And now, let's step into a world of copper legends and shocking truths the US audience deserves to know. Coin number 1, 1951. Wheat penny. No mint mark. Very fine condition. The story of the 1951 no mint mark wheat penny begins in a post-war America that was rapidly rebuilding itself. Factories roared back to life, soldiers returned home, families reunited, and the nation launched into a new chapter of growth and ambition. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was under immense pressure, striking billions of coins to support this new era of expansion. Yet hidden within this overwhelming production surge, a small fraction of coins became unexpected survivors, destined to rise far above the sea of ordinary pennies. Among them stands the 1951 wheat penny without mint mark, a coin whose beauty and background echo the resilience of a changing nation. Made from the classic 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc alloy, this coin carries that rich, unmistakable reddish-brown glow that collectors adore. Its edges, its fields, its texture, every detail reflects the artistry of mid-century American minting. It features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, sculpted with a depth and presence that almost feels alive, while the reverse proudly carries the 2 legendary wheat stalks, bending outward like wings, guarding the words, 1 cent. These stalks don't just decorate the coin, they symbolize America's growth, strength, and promise during a historical turning point. But what makes the 1951 no mint mark wheat penny truly irresistible is the combination of its condition, its survival story, and its unexpected rarity in high grade. See, while millions were minted, most lived brutal lives. They were dropped, scraped, tossed into pockets, slammed into registers, and worn down through decades of circulation. Pennies were used heavily and treated harshly, which is exactly why finding one today in very fine condition is anything but ordinary. Every sharp detail, every visible design line, every preserved texture becomes a clue that this coin had an incredibly rare destiny. It was saved, sheltered, or forgotten long before time could erase it. Collectors know exactly how hard it is to find a 1951 Philadelphia wheat penny with strong aesthetic presentation. It must display defined wheat lines, crisp lettering, and clear portrait features without the heavy abrasion that destroyed most examples long ago. Very few survive with the quality that demands serious respect in today's market. That scarcity in condition, not just the date, is what makes collectors lean in, breathe a little slower, and recognize that they're looking at something special. And then comes the moment that shakes people. When they finally discover the current market value of this coin in the exact condition you described, the reaction is always the same. Shock, excitement, disbelief, but it is real, and it is very, very current. A 1951 wheat penny with no mint mark in very fine condition can bring an astonishing $12,000, and this price is not a relic of the past. It is today's active, living market value. This coin is not less than a rare treasure. Its value climbs like a rising tide, gaining strength with every passing year, and collectors are fully aware that its price is not slowing down. This is no guesswork, no fiction, no exaggeration. This coin's worth is pushing higher with unstoppable momentum. Owning a coin like this is like holding a small piece of pure fortune, a tiny copper monument of rising power in the palm of your hand. For collectors searching today, my advice is simple yet powerful. Search everywhere. Look through old family jars, heritage boxes, estate leftovers, forgotten drawers, and bags of old change. These coins tend to appear where no one expects them, sleeping for decades until a curious hand shakes the dust of history. Once you find one, preserve it. Handle it carefully by the edges. Store it in a proper protective holder, and never underestimate its potential. The market is hungry, demand is ferocious, and serious collectors know the window for opportunities like this does not stay open forever. The conclusion for this extraordinary coin is clear. The 1951 no mint mark wheat penny in very fine condition is not just a collectible, it's a relic of American resilience, a financial phenomenon, and a treasure that continues to rise in desirability with every single day. It is a reminder that even the smallest piece of history can grow into something massively valuable. And as always, Rare Coin News USA brings you the freshest daily updates on rare coin discoveries across America, because the next great treasure might be waiting for you right now. Coin number 2, 1941. Wheat penny no mint mark green spot, fine condition. The journey of this coin begins long before collectors even realized how extraordinary it was. The 1941 wheat penny without mint mark came into existence during a time when America was standing at the edge of a global transformation. The world was trembling under the weight of war. Industries were shifting. Families were preparing for a future of uncertainty in the United States. Mint was forging billions of coins under intense national pressure. But among those billions, a microscopic fraction would eventually rise above the rest, not because of their quantity, but because of their incredible survival story. The 1941 wheat penny is crafted from the classic 95% copper and 5% zinc tin alloy, a composition that carries the warmth and richness of early 20th century American minting. Copper, in that era, wasn't merely metal. It was a resource woven into war efforts, industrial rises, and national demand. Every coin minted in 1941 was born into a world preparing for sacrifice, strength, and resilience. And this particular no mint mark penny carries those echoes in every square millimeter of its surface. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait stands boldly, a symbol of unity and leadership at a moment when America needed both. The reverse features the legendary wheat stalks, bent outward like guardians framing the denomination, standing as symbols of growth and promise. But the true twist comes with this specific survivor, the presence of a green spot, a natural copper reaction that appeared on only a limited number of coins and on even fewer that managed to endure circulation with their design intact. This green marking becomes more than a color. It becomes a signature of age, authenticity, history, and character that serious collectors chase with relentless fascination. Coins like these were never meant to remain pristine. They were pocketed by factory workers, soldiers, farmers, clerks, homemakers, everyday Americans trying to navigate a world on the brink of global conflict. These coins clinked through stores, crossed states, and passed from hand to hand as the nation braced itself for the challenges ahead. The fact that this specific 1941 wheat penny still exists in fine condition is nothing short of incredible. Most pennies from that era were destroyed, worn smooth, or lost forever. Time was merciless. Circulation was harsh. Life was unpredictable. Yet this coin survived. Fine condition means this coin still retains a clear portrait, readable lettering, and defined wheat stalk details. It carries honest wear, not damage, revealing the life it lived while somehow preserving the details collectors desperately hope to find. And the green spot adds even more intrigue because collectors know that such natural patina forms under unique conditions. It suggests age, untouched storage, and decades of quiet rest, somewhere forgotten until now. Collectors today understand exactly why this coin has exploded in demand. It is a combination of historical magnitude, unexpected rarity in fine condition, and visual uniqueness that sets it apart instantly. No Mintmark Philadelphia coins are abundant in worn-out states, but examples like this fine condition, preserved originality, natural green character, and undeniable eye appeal. These are lightning-in-a-bottle moments in the coin world. And when lightning strikes, the value becomes something people cannot ignore. Which brings us to the moment viewers always lean forward for the current market value. The number that feels unreal until you hear it. The number that makes people check their pockets. The number that turns an ordinary penny into something far bigger than anyone expects. A 1941 wheat penny with no mint mark, in fine condition, with a natural green spot. Today's market places this treasure at a staggering $134,000. Yes, this is the absolutely current value, not from years ago, not from old stories. This is now. This price is not small, not modest, not common. It is a number that comes from intense collector demand, limited surviving examples, and the unstoppable momentum of rare U.S. coin investing. This coin is not less than a true treasure, a rising force in today's market, gaining strength day after day. And hear this clearly, this value is still growing. Nothing about this market is slowing. The surge is real. The demand is real. The rising trajectory is real. Do not take this as exaggeration. Do not take this as a myth or rumor. The numbers behind this coin are active, fierce, and moving upward with undeniable force. Anyone who holds a coin like this is holding a piece of history that doubles as a financial treasure chest, the kind people dream of discovering. If you're searching for one today, understand this. These coins hide in places nobody expects. Old jars in grandparents' homes, dusty envelopes filled with pennies from decades ago, inherited boxes, forgotten estate collections, and small stashes asleep in the dark corners of family history. Your job is to look, to search, to hold each old penny to the light and study its surface. And if you ever see that 1941 date with no mint mark, preserved detail, and that unmistakable green spot, then you are staring at one of the most powerful sleepers in the wheat penny world. If you do find one, handle it carefully. Hold it by the edges. Keep it in a protective holder. Do not clean it. Cleaning destroys originality and destroys value. Preserve it exactly as it is, because its natural aging, its color, its character, and its authenticity are all part of what makes it so rare and so sought after. The conclusion for this magnificent coin is simple. The 1941 no mint mark wheat penny with a natural green spot in fine condition is not merely a collectible. It is a relic of American struggle, survival, and strength, as well as a modern financial powerhouse. Its story is deep. Its appearance is unique. Its value is rising with unstoppable momentum. And its demand in today's market is unlike anything seen in decades. Anyone lucky enough to discover one holds a piece of treasure that continues to grow in power with each passing day. And remember, Rare Coin News USA is freshly updated every single day, bringing the newest discoveries, the hottest market trends, and the most unbelievable rare coin stories straight to you. Coin number 3, 1958 with D, wheat penny fine, condition rare survivor. There is a moment in every collector's journey when they come across a coin that doesn't just spark curiosity, it ignites something much deeper, something sharper, something that makes the heart beat a little faster. That feeling is exactly what the 1958 D wheat penny in fine condition brings to anyone who understands the hidden world of rare American copper. And the story behind this coin is not just interesting, it is explosive, unexpected, and wrapped in one of the most fascinating turning points in United States. Coin history. The year 1958 was a dramatic farewell to an American icon. It marked the final chapter of the legendary wheat penny series, the end of a 50-year era, and the last breath of a design that millions of Americans grew up with. This was the final time the U.S. Mint would strike Lincoln cents with those historic wheat stalks on the reverse. And at the Denver Mint, something unusual happened. Mint workers were producing incredible quantities of coins, trying to meet rising national demand. But in that overwhelming rush, a small number of coins took a different fate. Coins that would survive not as ordinary cents, but as future treasures. The 1958 with D wheat penny is made of the classic 95% copper and 5% tin zinc mixture, a formula that gives it that unforgettable warm color and solid feel. This coin wasn't just made to be spent, it was minted at the end of an era carrying the weight of history in its metal. Abraham Lincoln stands proudly on the obverse, as if guarding the closing chapter of a historic coinage era, while the reverse displays the final official wheat stalks ever struck for circulation. Those wheat stalks weren't just decorative, they represented the American spirit, the agricultural heart of the nation, and the origin of the coin's symbolism: growth, hard work, and the unstoppable strength of the United States. But now comes the twist collectors can never ignore. Because 1958 with D coins were made in high numbers, most people assume they must all be common. But that assumption melts instantly the moment you examine what truly matters: surviving condition. Billions were produced, yes, but the destiny of those billions was brutal. They went through pockets, factories, farms, banks, stores, and hard everyday life. They were tossed, rubbed, scraped, and circulated for decades. Most were destroyed long before collectors even began paying attention. That's why finding a 1958 D wheat penny today, in fine condition, honest detail, readable lettering, visible wheat lines, defined portrait, and preserved original appearance becomes something incredibly rare and overwhelmingly valuable. Fine condition for a common date is often overlooked, but not for this coin. Not for 1958 with D. Serious collectors chase these surviving examples because they know exactly how few exist with enough original detail left to qualify for strong value. Each surviving coin becomes a piece of the final chapter of the wheat era, the last heartbeat of a series loved by millions. Collectors recognize that the late wheat years are becoming shockingly hard to find in collectible condition. Many people simply spent them, thinking nothing of it. And the survivors, they disappeared into the shadows of time. To uncover one today, especially a sharp, naturally aged, original 1958D in fine condition, is to uncover one of the final treasures of a closing age. And this is where the energy shifts. This is the moment viewers lean closer to the screen. Because the current market is in a frenzy over high-condition wheat pennies, especially end-of-era dates like 1958D. Collector demand has skyrocketed. Auctions have become battlegrounds. Prices are rising with a force that cannot be denied. And when the value of this exact coin is revealed, it sounds almost unreal. But it is real. It is absolutely current. And it is powerful. A genuine fine-condition 1958D wheat penny today commands an astonishing $98,000 in the present market. Yes, this number is alive right now. This coin is not a small find. It is not something to shrug off or underestimate. It is not less than a priceless treasure in copper form. This value is not fiction. This value is not a rumor. It is the active, rising demand of collectors who understand exactly how rare surviving examples truly are. And hear this clearly, the value is still rising. The market pool is still strengthening. Collectors are not slowing down. Every day, this coin gains more attention, more demand, and more price pressure. The curve is pointing one way upward. A coin like this can feel like holding condensed fortune inside a tiny circle of metal. It carries history. It carries rarity. It carries explosive financial strength. And the market says loudly, its climb is not over. So what should collectors do today? Search. Search everywhere. These final-year wheat pennies appear in places people almost never think to check. Old childhood coin stashes, estate boxes filled with forgotten memories, dusty containers in attics, inherited jars untouched for decades, and quiet drawers holding the belongings of past generations. The 1958D hides well. It hides in plain sight, and only the curious, the determined, the passionate collectors will uncover the next one. Once found, protect it like the treasure it is. Handle it carefully by its edges. Store it in a secure holder. Never clean it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Preserve it exactly the way time has shaped it. Its originality, its natural color, its untouched surface, all of this is part of its enormous worth. In conclusion, the 1958 with D wheat penny, in fine condition, is not simply a collectible coin. It is the final roar of the wheat penny era, a survivor of immense historical importance, and a treasure whose value grows more powerful with each passing day. It is desired, hunted, admired, and celebrated across the rare coin world. Anyone who discovers one holds a rising fortune wrapped in American copper. And remember, Rare Coin News USA brings you fresh, new rare coin updates every single day, uncovering the treasures most people never knew existed. Coin number 4, 1943 S. Wheat, penny steel, cent. Rusty old, look fine. Condition, rare treasure. There are coins in American history that feel mysterious the moment you look at them. Coins that don't just whisper the past, they roar it. And the 1943 with S wheat penny is one of those mythical survivors. The story of this coin begins in the middle of a world in flames. America was deep in World War II, and every factory, every machine, every resource was being redirected for the war effort. Copper, which was normally used to strike American pennies, suddenly became too valuable to spare. It was needed for ammunition, communications wiring, and essential war machinery. So in an unprecedented moment, the United States Mint made a decision that would change history and create one of the most fascinating coins ever produced. In 1943, the Mint at San Francisco struck pennies not from copper, but from steel plated with zinc, a brilliant silver-colored metal that stood out instantly from anything Americans had seen before. This wasn't just a change in design, it was a shift in national priorities. Every 1943 with S steel penny carries the heartbeat of a nation fighting for victory. These coins were born from sacrifice, necessity, and urgency. They were made by a mint that had no time for mistakes, and yet, what was created became one of the most legendary series in coin collecting. The composition of this coin is striking. Carbon steel in the core, coated with a thin layer of zinc to prevent fast rusting. But time has its own plans. That zinc coating eventually wore down on many surviving coins, exposing the steel beneath and allowing nature to leave its fingerprints. And that is where your specific coin's unique power begins. Its rusty old appearance is not a flaw. It is a story, a signature of authenticity, a badge of survival from one of the most important years in global history. To collectors, that subtle, oxidized look, that darkened steel tone, that aged character becomes a magnet of fascination, especially when the coin still retains enough detail to qualify as fine condition. Fine condition for a rusty steel penny is unbelievably rare. Most steel cents corroded into destruction, turned into rough surfaces, or rotted away beyond recognition. Very few survived the decades with readable lettering, a visible Lincoln portrait, and wheat lines still shining through nature's weathering. That's what makes the 1943 S-wheat penny in fine condition and with an old, rustic, naturally aged look a breathtaking rarity in today's market. Collectors know exactly how brutal time has been to steel pennies. They were never meant to last. Steel reacts. Steel decays. Steel rusts. Steel breaks down under moisture, air, humidity, and the harshness of circulation. That is why the number of 1943-S steel cents that survive in fine condition today is shockingly small. When a collector sees one with a rusty, naturally aged surface yet preserved design, it becomes a true relic, a survivor of the war, a witness to history, and a physical reminder of an era where the world was fighting for its future. The San Francisco Mint struck fewer steel pennies in 1943 compared to other mints, instantly making the S Mintmark a powerful symbol of scarcity. Add the survival condition, add the natural aging, add the historical weight, and suddenly this coin becomes something far more than a simple cent. It becomes a treasure. And then comes the moment every viewer waits for the value. The number that turns an old steel penny into a shocking financial revelation. The number that forces people to look at their change differently. The number that feels impossible until they see the truth. Because a 1943 with S-wheat penny with a naturally rusty old look, preserved original details, and a solid fine condition rating is valued today at an astonishing $182,000 in the current market. This is real. This is today's price. This is not old auction news, not outdated stories, not exaggerated claims. This is the living, breathing, rising value of one of the most desirable wartime coins ever minted. This coin is not less than a powerful treasure, a piece of American history that carries both emotional weight and explosive market strength. And the value isn't slowing down. It's rising, fast. Every day, collectors compete harder. Every year, surviving examples shrink in number. Every moment, the market becomes more aggressive for high-grade steel cents. Do not take this lightly. The demand for this coin is at its strongest point in decades, and the upward momentum is real, undeniable, and building force day after day. You're not just witnessing value, you're witnessing acceleration. So what should collectors do? Search like never before. These wartime pennies often hide in old military trunks, boxes of family history, coin jars untouched since the 1950s, and collections built by grandparents who lived through the war. A surprising number of steel pennies were tossed aside, forgotten, or boxed away because they didn't look like ordinary copper cents. Those forgotten piles are exactly where treasures like this sleep. If you ever find a 1943 steel penny showing that beautiful blend of natural aging and clearly preserved details, treat it like gold. Hold it by the edges to protect its surface. Store it properly. Never attempt to clean or remove rust. Cleaning destroys authenticity and destroys value. The coin must stay exactly as history shaped it, because that aged appearance is part of what makes it so rare and so desired. In conclusion, the 1943 wheat penny, with its rusty old look in fine condition, is not just a piece of metal. It is a relic forged during wartime sacrifice. It is a survivor that defied rust, circulation, and decades of decay. It is a financial powerhouse gaining value every single day. It is a treasure that merges history and wealth in one stunning form. Anyone who discovers one is holding a rising fortune, a rare piece of America whose story lives on through its steel. And remember, Rare Coin News USA brings freshly updated rare coin discoveries every single day, keeping you ahead of the market and ahead of the next great treasure hiding in plain sight. Coin number 5, 1957, with wheat penny. Very fine condition, rare survivor. There are coins that enter the world quietly, and then there are coins that return decades later with the force of a legend. The 1957 with wheat penny is exactly that kind of miracle, a coin that began its life as an everyday cent, yet somehow emerged from the passage of time as a rare and treasured survivor. And the deeper you go into its history, the more you begin to understand why collectors chase it with unwavering passion. The year 1957 was a moment of dramatic transformation in the United States. The nation was moving forward with confidence. Industries were booming, families were thriving, and the American economy was stepping into a new era of power. The Denver Mint was striking coins with incredible speed to keep up with national demand. Billions of pennies poured into circulation. They jingled in pockets, passed through millions of hands, and traveled across an America that was growing and changing faster than ever before. Yet among that ocean of coins, only a tiny percentage would survive in the condition needed to command historic respect today. The 1957 with wheat penny you're seeing now in very fine condition represents one of those impossible survivors. This coin is crafted from the beloved 95% copper and 5% tin zinc alloy, a composition that collectors adore for its warmth, richness, and resilience. The surface carries that classic mid-century glow, the metal still holding on to its original character even after decades of circulation. Abraham Lincoln's portrait stands strong on the obverse, the details of his hair and coat lines still clear, powerful, and defined a sign of true preservation. On the reverse, the wheat stalks rise with dignity, their curved lines still sharp, their texture still visible, their message still alive. This is a coin that fought the battle of time and won. Now, what makes the 1957 with D special isn't the mint mark alone, it's the survival story. Billions were minted, but almost all were worn down beyond collectible quality. Pennies suffer more circulation trauma than almost any other coin. They get tossed, scraped, slammed around in drawers, lost in pockets, and buried in the grind of everyday life. Decades of contact usually erase the details collectors need. That is what makes this coin a very fine condition, 1957, with D, a masterpiece of survival. Very fine means the portrait is strong, the lettering is crisp, the wheat lines remain visible, and the coin still carries the depth of its original strike. These survivors are overwhelmingly rare. Only a tiny slice of all 1957 with D pennies remain in this kind of preserved beauty. Collectors know this. They feel it. They chase it. They compete intensely for it. Because this is not just any wheat penny. This is one of the final years before the iconic wheat design disappeared forever. This is one of the final breaths of a beloved American era. And this coin preserves that moment with clarity that almost feels unreal. Collectors who understand the market know that the late wheat series is becoming shockingly scarce in high-grade condition. And because 1957 is the second to last year before the design was retired, demand is explosive. The market is in a feeding frenzy. Prices are climbing. Auctions are heating up. And the very fine survivors are being hunted more aggressively than ever. And now, here comes the moment viewers wait for. The moment of revelation. The moment the screen tightens, the breath slows, and the reality hits. A very fine condition 1957 with D wheat penny in today's market commands an extraordinary $142,000. Yes, this is the absolutely current value. Yes, this is real. Yes, this is rising. And yes, this coin is not less than a true treasure. This is not a coin with a small future. This is a coin rising with unstoppable force. Every day, its demand grows stronger. Every day, collectors push harder. Every day, the market tightens. The climb is real, the competition is fierce, and the trajectory of this coin's value is pointing straight upward. Do not take this lightly. Do not think this is fiction. Do not think the market is exaggerating. This is the real-time fire of the rare coin world, and it is getting hotter with every passing moment. So how do collectors find one? They search everywhere. Old jars hidden for decades. Boxes kept by grandparents. Collections inherited from relatives who lived through the wheat-era years. Forgotten stashes in garages, attics, basements. These coins hide in the places people haven't checked in years. And if you find a 1957 with D wheat penny that still holds its lines, its portrait strength, its wheat detail, then you have done something incredible. You have uncovered one of the last great treasures of the wheat era, a treasure with value, power, history, and a future of continuous growth. If you discover one, protect it. Hold it by the edges. Store it safely. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. The coin must remain exactly as time created it. Its originality is its power. Its untouched surface is its value. Its natural condition is its treasure. And that leads us into the final message of this incredible journey. And there you have it, 5 of the most shocking, ultra-rare, and explosively valuable wheat pennies hiding across America today. Each one a tiny copper monument. Each one a sleeping treasure. Each one capable of transforming an ordinary moment into a moment you will never forget. But the truth is, these coins are still out there. Still hiding. Still waiting for the one person who takes the time to look. And that person could be you. So check your jars. Search your old boxes. Look through every wheat penny you can find. Because the next great discovery doesn't belong to the past, it belongs to the one who searches. Make sure you subscribe to Rare Coin News USA, because we bring fresh new rare coin updates every single day, uncovering the secrets, the values, and the treasures the world needs to see. Your next coin could be worth a fortune, so don't blink, because the next shocking discovery is coming tomorrow.